Hey everyone, this is Jack. This is going to be a quick bar-by-bar review of the S&P 500 futures contract for Friday, June 12th, 2026. You can see my chart markup and comments for the day here. On the daily chart, we've been in a strong bull trend and we formed a wedge top at the all-time high, and we've got a pretty strong sell-off. Bears have got a couple of legs down. It looks like a possible micro double bottom here and a strong buy signal bar. It's very likely there are buyers at and below this bar, so it's very likely that today we will try to rally from the close of the bar. But it's possible that there are more sellers above the high or above the moving average if we can get there, and probably certainly sellers above this swing point here on the daily chart. And coming into the day on the Globex chart, we've been mostly sideways since the prior trading day, and we had a strong spike and channel bull trend here that formed a double top, and then we pulled back. And we have the Globex low, this red line, Globex high, that green line there. And we're coming into the day with a strong buy signal bar. So it's likely that this is a pullback from the spike and channel, and we'll probably trigger the buy. Maybe we pull back first, but likely to try to get back up to the Globex high. And on the 5-minute chart, we got bar 1. Pretty good sized bear bar. We've got a small gap which quickly closed with bar 1. I imagine that we go at least a little bit lower. We have 3 pushes up from the spike and channel that was ending yesterday, and now we have a strong reversal signal from the wedge top. So it's likely that we'll get a second leg down for the bears, but I imagine buyers not far below the major higher low here, bar 79 from yesterday. Bar 2, an inside bar and bull reversal bar. Maybe we trigger the buy, but I imagine sellers not far above, and then second leg down for the bears on 3. A climax bar, pretty big bar, 35 points, big risk. Probably not the start of a big bear trend that will last all day, and possibly the start of a broader bull channel from the spike and channel bull trend that was yesterday. So I imagine we go at least a little bit lower, but probably buyers not far below the low, and probably certainly around the swing point here, bar 56 yesterday. We also have the Globex low right here. And bar 4 is a doji bar, small follow-through bar, and prominent tail below, so probably buyers at and below the bar for a bounce. And then a bull reversal, but an inside bar, prominent tail, maybe sellers above for a second leg down from 3 and 4, but possible candidate for the low of the day and an opening reversal up. And bulls hoping for a trending trading range bull trend day, bears hoping for a trading range or possible trending trading range bear trend day, so probably sellers not far above 3 or above the open of the day, but we may get back there. Bar 6, breakout pullback long. Reasonable to think about buying, probably buyers not far below, but I imagine we go at least a little bit higher. And then bar 7, bit of a surprise, trapping limit order sellers at and above 6. So I imagine we get a second leg up, probably we get above bar 2. We're probably looking for the open of the day at a minimum, and we have an opening reversal up. So at a minimum, we have a trading range day. We have a swing down, a swing up. It's likely that we'll go a little bit higher, but I imagine we find sellers somewhere around the high of yesterday or the open of the day today. And then good follow through bar 8, probably still buy the close, but very likely that we'll pull back soon. Probably buyers below 8. And then 9, a pullback, bear bar, but a prominent tail, probably buyers not far below 9. And then a retest of the 9 high or the open of the day at a minimum. And then buyers at the close, we broke to a new high of the day. Bar 10 has a prominent tail on the top of the bar. It could be a breakout pullback, but more than likely sellers not far above 10, and the bears will probably be scaling into shorts above 9, expecting a second leg down for bar 9. Micro double top and a reasonable sell signal bar 11, but if we turn up on the next bar, that would be a micro double bottom for the bulls and a second leg up expected from the rally. The second leg might have ended on 10, and bar 11 may be the start of a new move down for the bears, a second leg down from the opening sell-off, but we may need to go more sideways before we go lower. Then 12, a weak pullback, probably sellers not far above, and then 11, breaking out above the high close on 10, finding sellers again at the open of the day. So maybe we go a little bit higher, but probably sellers not far above 13. And then 14, another bull bar. We have what looks like a small parabolic wedge pullback and a possible double top with 10 or double top with the open of the day. And if we go a little bit higher, we would have a wedge top. In fact, this high is one tick higher than 10, so this is a theoretical wedge top as well. So probably we pull back, and then 15, we have a big bear breakout, likely to go lower, probably sell to close, trap limit order buyers below the bull bars here in the swing point. So probably a second leg down for the bears. But then 16, looks like the bears are running out of momentum, and it looks like any limit order traders that sold above 6 were let out with 16, so we may bounce here, we may pull back. And then 17, we've got a higher low from 4 in a possible broad bull channel. You could draw a channel line even across these lows and across these highs. We may go higher, but big bar, big risk. This bar is about 45 points, so huge risk, but likely to go at least a little bit higher. And then 18, follow through, probably at a minimum a trading range day, so possibly sellers not far above, and we pull back into the range of 17, but probable trending trading range day, so we probably get a second leg up after a pullback, and then maybe a deep pullback if we get trend resumption. So weak pullback here, 19, probably will go at least a little bit lower, but probably buyers not far below. And then 20, inside bar, probably will go a little higher, probably bears starting to scale into shorts above 19. We're getting follow through, but the bars are small and there's a lot of overlap. We tested the Globex high. I imagine we go a little bit higher, but it looks like we may not be able to get that much higher. We have 3 pushes up to 22, probably sellers not far above. We're breaking above the Globex high. We have at least 3 big pushes up, 1, 2, and then 3, or 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a 4th push up. A lot of selling pressure here, and very climactic behavior with a lot of small follow through bars here. Late in a trend, very likely that it will lead to a pullback, so I imagine we pull back soon. Follow through, but a little bit of a climax, 23. I imagine profit taking soon. And then a doji inside bar. Not a strong signal for the short, probably more buyers below than sellers. But if you get a strong reversal here, we may test down back into the range of 17 like I talked about earlier. And then that's a pretty good sell signal bar, reasonable to sell here, sell a pullback. Not much of a micro double top here. You could say that we went up on 23, down on the tail of 24, and then bounced here at the close of 24. So possible micro double top here, but not a very strong signal for the short. But reasonable to sell here, looking for a test down into the range of 19, possibly down into the range of 17. I imagine trapped limit order bears around the high of 16 and the high of 15 at a minimum. So the risk reward is decent for the short. Then we pulled back. We had buyers at the close of 25, but ultimately sellers overwhelmed the buyers, and we tested lower, pulled back just above the moving average. I imagine we go at least a little bit lower, possibly buyers starting to scale in below 26. Strong follow through and a strong bar. Probably we go at least a little bit lower. And then another pullback, and then a climax on 28. Maybe we go a little bit lower, but now we have at least 3 pushes down, maybe 4 pushes down. So probably buyers at and below bar 28 for a bounce. And then 29, pretty good looking bull reversal, but a tight channel down, likely sellers at and above the bar. And then another climax on 30. And a bigger bar, the biggest bar in the sell-off so far, I think. Just about. But anyway, we're reversing up, creating a small tail just above the high of 16. Increases the odds we pull back here, and then a small doji bull bar. Probably buyers not far below, probably sellers at and above for a second push down from 30. But 32, pretty good looking bull bar. And possible micro double bottom with 30. So reasonable to think about buying here. And then a surprise bull breakout with a prominent tail above and below. Likely sellers not far above, but probably we go at least a little bit higher. Micro double top 34, reasonable sell signal, but probably buyers not far below. Too much momentum up. And then a doji. Probably we go sideways to up, but not ideal. And then another doji. So sellers above 35. Probably buyers below 36 and 35, looking for a second leg up for the bulls. And then a high 2, but a tight trading range. Probably sellers in the range of 34. and then an inside bar, probably buyers below 38. And then we broke out above 38, found sellers, reversed down, but a tight trading range, probably buyers below 39 and buyers below 35. Instead, buyers at the close. So we actually have a micro channel since 35, but forcing you to buy at the top of a tight trading range. It's also a triangle, likely sellers above 34. And then micro double top, reasonable sell signal, probably okay for a scalp, but probably buyers below 40. And then reversal up, 42. 1, 2, 3 pushes up. It's a little wedge, but it doesn't look very good. So probably we go a little higher, but I imagine sellers above 34. And then good follow through, not quite there. Maybe sellers not far above. And then 44, bit of a climax. I imagine we start to pull back here, but not a very good sell signal bar. Bulls will look for a second leg up, but this is 2 or 3 legs up and what's mostly a tight trading range. And we have new limit order bears selling in 44. So I imagine we have sellers at and above 44. But bears scalped out. We tested the moving average, pulled back. Could be a breakout pullback short. Reasonable to sell, but you probably need to use a wide stop and scale in. Probably sellers above 44. I imagine buyers at and below this bar for another push up. And then 46, probably going for the 44 high, but possibly sellers at and above 46. Not a strong signal for the short, but reasonable. Probably sellers above 44 if we get there. And then breakout pullback short, not very strong. Probably bulls looking for a second leg up, another higher low in a channel. So possibly buyers at and below, but probably more likely buyers below 45. And then 3-bar micro channel, strong close on the 3rd bar, bigger bodies. Could be a climax, possibly buyers at and below the moving average and the swing points. So far we have a bull channel on the day. We may go a little bit lower, but I imagine we have buyers not far below 45, possibly at and below 49. And then bull inside bar, bars are getting smaller. Probably sellers not far above, looking for a second leg down. We've got a pretty tight trading range, probably better to wait. And then mostly sideways, 52, a small pullback, a bear flag. Probably we go a little bit lower, but I imagine buyers below 50 and 45. And then finally, bears get a second leg down, 54. Possible double bottom with the swing point on a line chart with bar 41. So possibly buy the close and buy below. Bear inside bar, probably we go a little bit lower, but I imagine we bounce around 42 low. And then 56, breakout pullback, but 2 legs down, looks symmetrical. So I imagine buyers at and below. But they scalped. We have sellers above the swing point on the line chart with bar 52, 53 close. So I imagine we go a little bit lower, but probably sideways to up realistically. Double bottom 56, probably buyers not far below. And then 60, tight trading range. We'll probably go a little higher, but I imagine sellers in the sell zone of 57. And then follow through, but an inside bar. I imagine we go a little bit higher, but probably sellers above 52, above 57. And then bull bar, but 2 legs up and at near the top of a trading range. Very likely sellers at and above this bar. Not a great signal for the short, but reasonable. Probably buyers around the 62 low. And then we reversed up from the moving average, but a weak buy. So probably sellers around the high close of 63. Instead, sellers at the close. 66, a surprise bear breakout. Probably gets a second leg down, but we're testing the stop entry price for the bulls right here. So we may bounce. And then the bounce is pretty strong. That could be all the second leg that the bulls get. So probably sellers not far above the 66 high. And then 68, doji. I imagine we go sideways to down, but probably buyers in the buy zone of 67. So follow through, but then bouncing at the low close, 66. High 2, but a trading range, probably sellers not far, probably around the 68 high. And then sideways, 72, a low 2 near the bottom of a trading range. We have another triangle. I imagine buyers in the buy zone of 70 and probably not far below. Bear breakout, but breaking below a couple of swing points, another possible higher low in a broad bull channel. We might go a little bit lower, but probably buyers below these lows scaling in. And then we bounced, found sellers above, and we've got a doji. Possible micro double bottom, possible buy the close, probably buyers below. And then inside bar, another one, probably sellers not far above 74 if we get there. Reasonable to buy here, but I'd be quick to get out. And then probably sellers above 74. Looks like a buy the close rally, but weak, probably we go mostly sideways, and then more follow through, and looks like buy the close rally into the close. So overall, a trending trading range day, the last part of the day being mostly a tight trading range. Pretty tricky to trade in a tight trading range. But overall, tight trending trading range bull trend day. What do we do for Monday? Well, on the daily chart, we have a weak follow through bar. I imagine we go at least a little bit higher, probably sellers above 75.50 up here, and we probably need to test down, but probably buyers below 74.50 or the low of today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.